Katy Perry. This is clip number 19. Katy Perry last night. I'm not a big follower of pop culture. I just frankly don't have the time. And, my workday runs from basically 8 in the morning till 8 at night, Monday through Friday. And so I don't know much about Katy Perry. I couldn't identify any of her songs. But I was, and in fact, I said to Louise, who's that woman up there with all the metal in her left ear? And she's like, oh, that's Katy Perry. And I'm like, wow, she's good. And she gave this incredible speech. And there was a piece of it that just, spoke to what I have been ranting about here for the last hour, which is we don't elect kings and queens. We don't elect leaders. We elect representatives. Or if you want to say that we're electing leaders, we elect leaders who are responding to we the people. That's the idea of American democracy. And the key word here is elect. Thomas Paine said the vote is the beating heart of democracy. Here's Katy Perry talking about votes and billionaires.
So, both of my parents are pastors and staunch Republicans. I didn't finish high school, and unfortunately I don't have a formal education, but I do have an open mind, and I have a voice. So I'm asking you to have an open mind and to use your voice, because on November 8th, you'll be just as powerful as any NRA lobbyist. You'll have as much say as any billionaire. Or you can just cancel out your weird cousin's vote if you like.
I love it. Or you can just cancel out your weird cousin's vote. Now, the one thing I haven't talked about so far, and I think it's worth getting to in clip number 7 here, is that last night was historic. Just like 8 years ago was historic when we elected the nation's first African-American as president of the United States, which caused the heads to explode, all over the Reich wing and all over the whole Stormfront crowd and all the other, basically haters, the white man dead enders, the white power, white supremacy dead enders. We have never had a woman as president of the United States. Women have been able to vote in this country since 1919. But we've never had a woman even be nominated as the standard bearer for one of the two major parties. Shirley Chisholm tried back in 1972, and it was a noble effort. And she was, not only the first woman who seriously challenged the Democratic Party and said, hey, how about a female? But she was also the first African-American. Well, she might not have been the first African-American, but she was the first African-American woman. But this is historic. We have reached an incredible milestone. And I don't think this is inconsequential. I think that this is of considerable import. The idea that every little girl growing up, that my daughters, that God willing someday we have grandchildren, that my brother's children and grandchildren, their daughters and granddaughters can now, look up at that long list of presidents on the wall and see somebody who looks like them. Here's Hillary talking about that.
Tonight, we've reached a milestone in our nation's march toward a more perfect union. The first time that a major party has nominated a woman for president. Standing standing here as my mother's daughter and my daughter's mother. I'm so happy this day has come. I'm happy for grandmothers and little girls and everyone in between. I'm happy for boys and men, because when any barrier falls in America, it clears the way for everyone. After all, when there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit.
Right. I also, they kept doing these cutaway shots to Bill Clinton. He was standing in the front row. And when you're in a big auditorium in the front row and the stage is in front of you and the stage is 12, 14 feet high and, up there above you, and then your speaker is standing up above that and is standing behind a podium, I'm not sure if he looked up, if he could even see his wife. But in any case, he would be looking way up. And so they put monitors down on the floor line around there. So, I thought the cutaway, I saw somebody on Twitter this morning said Bill Clinton was falling asleep. No, he wasn't falling asleep. He was watching the show on a monitor down near the floor. So he was looking down. And, but it was bad optics. And these were not cutaway shots that if I were directing, I would have chosen to do. Now, in that clip that we just played, he actually looked up for a moment, but most of the speech, he seemed to be looking down at the monitor, which is just a heck of a lot. I've been in these environments, and it's just that's how it is. So anyhow, Hillary started reaching out to people. This is clip 8. She was specifically reaching out to working people. This is a shout out to independents across the nation. Here you go.
I've gone around the country talking to working families, and I've heard from many who feel like the economy sure isn't working for them. Some of you are frustrated, even furious. And you know what? You're right. It's not yet working the way it should. Americans are willing to work and work hard. But right now, an awful lot of people feel there is less and less respect for the work they do, and less respect for them, period. Democrats, we are the party of working people. But we haven't done a good enough job showing we get what you're going through, and we're going to do something to help.
If I were writing this speech, I would have added something to that, because it almost sounded like she was saying, the last 8 years of the Obama administration haven't done enough. And I would have added, because of Republican obstructionism. I would have just laced this speech with that. But then maybe I'm a little more pissed off than Hillary Clinton is, I don't know. Or, I think she was trying to strike that JFK lofty moonshot tone of, let's strive for our best. And she was not going to get down in the dirt with Donald Trump and the Republicans. And I respect that. I absolutely respect that. And so I guess it's up to people like me to point out that wages have been flat for 40 years in the United States for one single reason: the Republican Party, Reaganomics. And yeah, there have been a few Democrats who've gone along with that, and we need to call them out, and we need to run primary candidates against them and use the democratic process and the Democratic Party to return the Democratic Party to a genuine progressive force. But that's our work.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
No one person is going to do that. It's going to take all of us. It does take a village. We'll be back.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.